I don't know about you guys, but as far as me, I just have a very quirky and weird personality that I would say majority of people get turned off by, especially women. Ever since I was a kid, I always was, I was always acting weird. I was always, I would say like I wasn't like completely normal, but I was kind of like abnormal, in some ways. The way I was talking, the way I was laughing, the way I was, interacting with people. Even now, like you guys don't see my face, but even like when I'm talking, you guys already can get the vibe that yeah, this guy's kind of weird. I was always that weirdo, and it's I don't know if it's my autism or I don't know if it's my if it's the way that I was born, and I just don't know. I really don't know, but the problem is that I try to better myself. I try to socialize and learn some social skills, but it looks like I can never catch up with this word, bro. Like I feel like you know I like I try to socialize and I try to learn stuff, and I feel like my social skills are early, from like 2002, and it's already 2025. So it looks like every time I try to catch up, all of a sudden, like, you know this I cannot catch up with the years, bro. I cannot catch up with years, and I cannot, like, it doesn't matter what I learn, it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what I do. It's just like it looks like it's in the past. Everybody has already heard it. Everybody's like, it's in the nostalgia. Um, when it comes to making friends and all that stuff, especially this new era that we're living in 2025. We already know like how people socialize, how people interact, and all that crap. We already know, like, I'm not saying like interacting and socializing is even in 2025 with these normies, with all these people, is normal, because it's not. But I believe that it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what I say. I'm always gonna be that old news. I'm always gonna be that guy that never catch up with the trends. And it's sad. It's sad. I've been like getting mad because of that. I've been beating myself up for that. I've been telling myself, like, why can't I like catch up with people? Why can't I like be like more social? Why can't I be like why can I not be like be normal? At least, like, I not know what is normal, but at least like be a normal that this society like accepts. And unfortunately, like, I could never be that guy. It doesn't matter what I say or what I do. Somebody's always have something smart to say. You know somebody's there to mess up the mood, mess up my mood. Somebody's there to destroy my vibe. Somebody's always there to say some shit about me, say some shit about my personality, making fun of my social skills, or overall just like, just not taking me seriously. That's what I'm trying to say. But at this point, I'm kind of like, I haven't given up completely, but I'm kind of giving up. Like, I'm not going out of my way to impress people. I'm not going out of my way to you know, try to be a normie. Even I would want to, but when you're like a BP, you can never be a normie. That's the sad thing. When you're a BP, most likely you're always gonna be a BP unless like you become a blue pill. But somehow you become a blue pill after like you finding a girl. But I'm telling you, man, like for me, it was never begin. For me, maybe I was never meant to be social. Maybe I was never meant to, have people that would accept me for me. Maybe in my life, always like it's always gonna be the way that like people always treat me like garbage for one thing that I just say wrong, or people always judging me for saying things like in a certain way. And whether I get tongue tied, whether I get like I say one word that is not really make sense, or whether it doesn't make sense to them. So I mean, it's really not a fun experience. That's why most of my life I've been alone. I've been isolated, and everybody is looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? That's the problem. When you cannot fit in, because my entire life I always struggled to fit in with people, because nobody has ever accepted me for me. People always expecting me to like change myself, or be more whoever they wanted me to be, and if I'm not, then it's over. But it's just one of those things that it really affected my life. It really affected my life of like, I cannot really relax. Like every time I talk to people, I have to put on a show. I have to put on this mask that I'm somebody else, and that just adds up a lot of stress. That just adds up a lot of like anxiety to me, because now like, I'm thinking like, oh my God, if I say this or if I do this, now people are going to look at me all funny and all that crap, and, I never wanted that, but I guess like that's just how my reality is. I'm older too. I'm in my mid-30s, and it looks like this word is keep on getting worse and worse, and and one of the problem is that when I was when I was in the social events or social gathering or whatever, always trying to impress people. Always trying to be like more social. Always trying to impress. Like always try to like prove people wrong. Always try to like be that guy that is not weird or quiet. But eventually, people push me to that edge, push me to that corner. Like, yeah, you gotta be alone, you gotta be like, you have to be like all by yourself, and it wasn't a fun experience, like most of my life, ever since I remember, I was pretty quiet, I was never talking. And every time I the funny thing is, every time I was opening up my mouth, I heard like somebody was making fun of me, the way I speak or whatever I was saying, or they were judging me. They were telling me like something is wrong with this guy. They were telling me like this guy's weird, he's a weirdo, he's an outcast. Why did he say that? What he means by saying that, and all that stuff. People always over exaggerated whatever I was saying, and that kind of made me the quiet weirdo guy. And when you're somebody that cannot fit in or cannot interact with people, you're gonna be more of a weirdo. Like if you're weird, you're gonna be more weird, because This word is keep on spinning. People are keep on changing. Socializations keep on changing. The way people talk and act is keep on changing. And if you're a guy that hasn't like had any friends or hasn't had any girlfriend for a decade, bro, you're gonna be stuck there for a long time, bro. You're gonna be stuck there for a long time, because you cannot catch up with all those years that you have lost, And especially us, man, especially a guy who's not desirable, especially a guy who's like from societal standard, he's just ugly, he's short, he's weird, he's broke, or he's an incel, whatever, especially that guy, bro, you're gonna be in a very tough situation, bro. And I feel sorry for you, bro, like, because I'm in the same situation, like, it's just like, maybe it's our destiny, maybe that's just how we were born, maybe that's how it meant to be, because, like, if you're not a guy who's dominant, if you're not a guy who's like super tall, if you're not a guy who's like super macho and alpha and arrogant and all that stuff, everybody's gonna judge you. Everybody's gonna judge you for your looks. Everybody's gonna judge you for your situation, for your resources and all that stuff. Everybody's gonna judge you, and once they find out that something is wrong with you, bro, even the littlest things, it's over. They're not gonna even give you a second chance, or they're not gonna even look at you twice. And you're always gonna be that weird guy in everybody's eyes, bro. Like, everywhere you go, they're gonna point it at you to their friends or to their people, like, hey, look, this is that weirdo that said this. This is the weirdo that, at this time he said that. This is the weirdo that he tried to do that and he failed. Ha ha. And yeah, that shit ain't fun, man. That shit ain't fun. I've been into so many situations like that I can't count on my entire generation's fingers and toes that how bad it, like, that's how bad it is, bro. And at this point, I'm older. I don't have a girlfriend. I never had a girlfriend. I've been isolated for 5 years, at this point it's more than 5 years. And it looks like all the hopes are gone, bro. And it's just like there's no hope for me as far as like finding people, finding friends, or generally speaking, socializing with people, and because I'm always that weirdo, I'm that weird guy that cannot fit in, I'm that weird guy that cannot speak properly. I've had like so many people telling me, like, why are you talking like that? Why is this? Why is that? Why you have an accent? Why you damn? Like, everybody had something smart to say, bro. And it's just like making it so much harder for me to, be around people, trusting people, and making progress with my social skills. And it's just like, I don't know what to do at this point. Like, I don't know how to maintain my composure at this point. Like, I don't know, like, all I know is that people don't like me. All I know is that if I say or do one wrong thing, it's a wrap. Everything is gonna go against me, and it did in the past. So, and this world is not really a friendly place. This world is not like a, nobody has sympathy for you. So, you always have to look out for yourself. You always have to keep your guards up. You always have to have a third eye open. And it sucks to have like a quirky and weird personality. It sucks to have an odd personality. but that's just how I've been born. I've been born with the odd personality. Ever since I was a kid. I don't know if you guys if I show you guys my picture from when I was a kid, bro, you guys gonna think like this fool is like autistic, because I was like always smiling in my pictures. I was like, you know, I was like literally looking like the typical autistic boy, and yeah, man, that's pretty much what I want to say. I just wanted to get this out of my chest. And even in this community, people telling me like, "Oh, you're weirdo, you're weird," and all that stuff. You're just like, you don't know how to talk and you don't know how to speak properly. And I'm like, yeah, guys, you don't know me, bro. You guys never know what I've been through, and whatever you've been through makes it like 10 times harder, bro. Like, but it's natural. Like when you don't have social skills, you're gonna have bad experiences with people, and when you have bad experiences with people, it just makes you like lock yourself in a room and be isolated, which is gonna be a lot harder for you, bro. But anyways, man, I'm just gonna get out of here. I'm just gonna go. So I'll see you guys on the next one.